This is my classic Alison Armstrong story. This is what I tell when I'm like pitching your programs and your work to other people. So one of the things that you teach pretty early on in your programs is to listen, but you say it in a very specific way. Because I've always been a good listener, but I work fast. My mind goes fast. I go sharp, right? So that means, and without even realizing it, that I've been cutting men off my entire life. And the way you put it, which I think is so helpful, and I put it into practice, and my God, it works, is like, wait, when a man is talking and he pauses, wait. I forget how long you say. You have to count to a certain number.
I say count to 30.
Count to 30, and he'll keep talking. Yeah. And if you speak before that, you're going to cut him off, right? Yeah. So you have to cut to 30. And I was like, can't.
It depends, though. It depends, though. Most men will come in at like 18 to 22 seconds. But if you're asking him a question about emotions or feelings, it's good to set it up. You know, if you want to think about this and get back to me, that's fine. Take your time. It could be 3 days. It could be 3 weeks.
It's a long time.
It's a deep well, and give him chance to, we call it waiting for the well. Let him dip that bucket all the way down to the substance that you want. And as you know, because we interrupt men, we think they're superficial. And I just would ask you to listen to song lyrics written by men. Go read poetry written by men. They are not superficial. They're not unemotional. Their feelings are so intense. Yeah. And they love us passionately.
So in that, right, count to 30, and I was like, pfft. And so I went to a party and I put that into practice. I was literally like, okay, I'm gonna count to 30, and they kept talking. It was like, I literally would, for me, I'd get to like count 8 or 12 or something like that. Whereas like give me a beat, 1-2 seconds of silence, and I'll just get in there, you know? And like, so in that, I was like, whoa. And they just kept talking and talking. And I will say, and something with exploring this work, right, is you play with it, because I did then spend hours at a party just listening to men talk. And I was like, oh, not only am I a fast thinker and a quick talker, but I also got trained by society that if I want to get a word in with men, like if I want a seat at the table, if I want them to listen to me, I have to like get in there and make them listen to me. Maybe that works in a business setting, right? Like maybe there's some element of standing for my voice that's important. But what I did find at that night, number one, men got way deeper with me. They revealed things that, like, men that I had written off suddenly, as you're saying, like unpacked these gems of wisdom and poetry and beauty in their heartbreak, because I wasn't interrupting them. Number two, after about an hour of that, they became extremely interested in me. So they talked and talked and talked, but then actually once they felt safe, as you say, they suddenly did start to ask me questions, but I had to wait beyond my threshold of what was a normal amount of time for me to listen, for them to actually build trust, come back to me. And number three, swear to God, 3 men that I did that with that night, and this is not about like being like a pickup artist or whatever, it was totally just what happened. They all got my number somehow. Like I didn't even give them my number. All 3 of them independently got my number from someone else and texted me about how like amazing and magical and how they wanted to stay in touch and how they wanted to like all this. It was like just shutting up for a little bit and listening, but like paying attention to like how slow they were going and what really listening to a man required really shifted things. And as far as like a romantic relationship goes, like absolute gold to just really give that level of space and listening to a man.
Can I add a piece, or people are going to end up with something not working and they won't know why?
Please.
Besides waiting for the well, taking the time, because they don't talk off the top of their head. They go looking for the best to give you if you let them. But also, as we talk about in Lux, what matters is the question you're listening with and the question other people are listening with. So, for example, many people, and this is normal human behavior, the question at the top of their head is, what do I think about that? What do I think about that? What do I think about that? And then when we think something that's interesting to us, we'll interrupt the other person to tell them what we think. And if we're really going to get to know each other, we got to stop talking to ourselves. What do I think about that? What do I know about that? What do I want to say? How do I feel about that? Do I agree with that? That's a conversation with ourselves. We actually have to get into a conversation with them, that we're listening more with the question of what's true for them, or what matters to them, or what do they care about, or how is this man communicative, or how is this person wise, right? We have to have questions at the top of our mind that are about them instead of about us. And you also, I'm sure, know this, Layla, if you listen well enough, it's like a lake in the middle of the desert for men, a freshwater lake. They're used to being interrupted. There is a point when you have to start asking for a turn. Because reciprocating, yeah, they don't, we talk about this in Understanding Women, do you know, that women have this precise reciprocation. If I listen to you for half an hour, now you listen to me for half an hour, right? Men aren't built that way. How men show appreciation is they take what you've given and they go put it to good use. You know, they appreciate the sandwich because they ate it. And they'll take being listened to and be all empowered and go off and, climb a mountain. They don't think, equal time. It's not part of their natural etiquette as it is with ours. And so we have to ask. We have to ask for a turn. Or I need to take a turn first. I'm full and I need to take a turn first. And you don't have to remember any of this. I've just got to get it out of my space. So I spend so much time on speaking and listening. And earlier what you were talking about, Layla, which is awesome, is how sensitive men are to how you're being.
Yeah.
And this is a way they're highly perceptive. How is she being? And we don't have to have the right words. Right? How we're being is so loud.
Yeah. And that's an amazing thing to wrap on, right? Like, it feels sometimes like the toxic messaging we've gotten is like, to magnetize a king, you gotta be the sexiest, you gotta look a certain way, right? Men are visual, that can play a role, but it's looking the best version of yourself is different from focusing all on how do I look, like how do I trigger that sexual impulse in a man? Because when it comes to your wife material, your partner material, I want to show up for you all the way. There is something so much deeper that good men are attuned to, that they are actually listening to. And so the beautiful invitation of that is to stop doing all this toxic stuff to ourselves, start being like, if I want to magnetize an incredible men, or like a line of incredible men, now that we're actually getting real about it, like an ocean of men, what I want to do is actually literally legit be the best version of myself. It sounds cliche, but we don't often tell ourselves that story, right? We tell ourselves, I'm too much. I have to get this procedure, that whatever like the story is, versus like, what if I truly learn to be the best version of myself, the safest version of myself, the truly best listener, someone who cares so deeply, someone with a beautiful open heart, along with all the other like being best version of myself pieces. What if that was the key to having a line of men beating their way to my doorway? And then that makes this game so beautiful.
It's so cute when you talk about a line. It just takes one.
Just takes one. Just takes one.
Yeah. And if you're honoring yourself, then the people who are attracted are going to be more resonant from the very beginning. And when women are worried about their looks, their body shape, the self-consciousness is life-sucking for the people around them. And whether they think they're stunning or they think they're ugly, all self-consciousness. And the self-confidence of this is who I am. I have faith in myself. If this is what you want, yay. If not, I wish you well.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the effect that has is amazing. And it's the number one most attractive quality in a woman is self-confidence.